Part 1. The Tired Learner's Secret Weapon. Welcome to English Tonight. Let's be honest. How does this sound? Your alarm rings. Another day. You have that familiar resolve. Today, I will study English. Today, I will make progress. You open your app, you review your flashcards, you watch a lesson, you try to piece together sentences in your head. Your brain works hard. It feels full, buzzing, a little fatigued. But you push on. You finish your session, close the book, and feel a faint hope that something stuck. Then, life happens. Work, family, responsibilities. The day moves fast. By the time evening comes, that morning's vocabulary feels like a distant echo. You might feel a quiet whisper of guilt. I should review. I should practice speaking. But you're tired. Your mind is a blur of the day's noise. The very thought of active studying feels like lifting a mental weight. So you might force it. You open a grammar exercise with heavy eyes. You read the same paragraph 3 times without understanding it. Frustration builds. The language starts to feel like a wall, not a door. You go to bed feeling one of 2 things: overwhelmed by the mountains still left to climb, or defeated by the feeling that you're forgetting faster than you can learn. This cycle, this push, this exhaustion, this guilt is what most people call learning. But I'm here to tell you something radical. This is not learning. This is just struggling. What if your most significant progress could happen not when you're pushing your mind to its limit, but when you are doing the exact opposite? When you are completely still. When you have surrendered. When your conscious mind, the source of all that doubt and effort, has finally gone quiet. What if the key to unlocking fluency was already in your hands every single night? Not in a textbook, but in your own biology. This is not a gentle suggestion or a nice-to-have tip. This is a paradigm shift, a game changer. For our entire lives, we've been taught that learning is a conscious, daytime battle. A fight for focus against distraction. A test of willpower against a tired brain. We've been trying to climb the mountain of fluency wearing a heavy backpack, using the wrong map, and exhausting ourselves before we even find the trail. But what if the mountain itself had a secret, silent elevator? What if there was a hidden pathway that operated only when you stopped walking? When you finally allowed yourself to rest? That elevator, that pathway, is your sleeping brain. And it is the most powerful, sophisticated, and profoundly underutilized learning tool you will ever possess. Tonight, we are not just adding another method to your list. We are initiating a fundamental rewrite of the rules. We are moving from being a fighter against the language to becoming a partner with your own mind. We are unlocking a state of acquisition where there is no struggle, no performance anxiety, no conscious straining, only deep, silent, and remarkably efficient integration. This is why it changes everything. Sleep learning dismantles the core myth that pain and exhaustion are the price of progress. It provides scientific proof that you can build neural pathways not through gritty force, but through intelligent trust. Not through depleting your energy, but through restoring it. Imagine this new ending to your day. The lights are low. You feel the day's tiredness. Instead of facing a last guilty battle with a grammar book, you simply press play on a gentle audio. You lie down. You breathe. As you listen to calm, repetitive English, you feel the stress about the language itself begin to melt away. You drift off, not with a sense of failure, but with a sense of calm purpose. You know that while your body rests, a dedicated part of you is still quietly, efficiently, building your path to fluency. That is the promise. Not of magic, but of strategy. Not of a shortcut, but of a smarter path. It's a peaceful revolution in how you approach English, and it begins the moment you decide to let the night do its essential work. The game is about to change, and you hold the controller. Part 2. The Silent Software Update. Reprogramming your brain overnight. In Part 1, we named the problem, the exhausting daytime struggle that often feels like running on a treadmill, putting in immense effort, but not actually moving forward. We challenged the idea that suffering and burnout are necessary ingredients for learning. Instead, we introduced the possibility of a partnership with your own biology. Now, let's demystify the how. For this to be a true game changer, you can trust and implement. We must move beyond appealing metaphors and understand the potent, silent machinery at work. This is where the abstract becomes actionable. Think of your conscious daytime study brain as the active user of a complex computer. Throughout the day, you're the operator. You're clicking, focusing on lessons, typing, writing sentences, opening programs, activating grammar rules, and running complex tasks, trying to hold a conversation. You are working hard, and the system is under load. As the day goes on, more and more tabs are open in your mind, not just English, but work stress, to-do lists, conversations, and anxieties. The mental RAM is maxed out. The cognitive processor overheats with fatigue. Errors pop up, forgetting words, mixing up tenses. You feel the system lagging, but you push on, trying to force performance from a depleted system. Now, what does every sophisticated computer system require to function properly? It isn't more frantic clicking. It needs scheduled, intentional downtime. It needs to run essential, behind-the-scenes maintenance processes, installing critical updates, defragmenting the hard drive to organize scattered data, clearing the cache of temporary files, and performing deep, system-wide backups. If you never shut it down, it becomes glitchy, slow, and unstable. The very effort to keep it running constantly prevents it from doing the deep work required for long-term health and efficiency. Your brain is that astonishingly sophisticated system. And sleep is not optional downtime. It is the essential, non-negotiable maintenance window where the most important work is done. Here's the crucial science, simplified. When you learn something new during the day, a new English word like resilient, the correct pattern of a present perfect sentence, the unique melody of a native speaker's question, it is initially held in a temporary, fragile storage space called your hippocampus, your short-term memory. Think of it like saving a file to your computer's cluttered desktop. It's visible for now, but it's not integrated or organized. It's vulnerable. It can easily be overwritten by the next piece of information, or simply fade if the connection isn't strengthened. This is why you can hear a word 10 times in a morning lesson and struggle to recall it by the afternoon. Here is the game-changing biological truth. The critical process of moving that information from your temporary desktop, hippocampus, into your permanent, organized, and interconnected filing system, the neocortex, or long-term memory, happens primarily during the deep, slow-wave stages of sleep. Neuroscientists call this nocturnal process memory consolidation. During these deep sleep cycles, your brain isn't passive. It's wildly active in a very specific way. It meticulously replays the neural patterns that were formed during your waking experiences. It's like your brain's internal technician is reviewing the day's footage, but in a rapid, prioritized highlight reel. This nocturnal replay isn't random. It's a physiological strengthening mechanism. Each time a neural pathway is reactivated during sleep, the connection between those brain cells is fortified. It's the biological equivalent of taking a faint footpath and paving it into a sturdy road. The memory transitions from being a temporary event to a permanent fixture of your knowledge landscape. But your sleeping brain does something even more extraordinary and strategically useful for us as learners. It doesn't just save random files with equal priority. It operates with a powerful bias. It subconsciously asks, what from today was emotionally resonant, surprising, or repeatedly experienced? Emotion and repetition are the high-priority tags for the brain's night crew. This is our golden, strategic opening. This is where we stop being passive victims of biology and start being intelligent directors of it. When you consciously listen to calm, repetitive, and positive English in the 20 to 30 minutes right before sleep, you are performing a powerful act of curation. You are handing your brain's nocturnal maintenance team a clearly labeled high-priority task. You are flooding your hippocampus with the target material just as the brain prepares for its consolidation shift. You are effectively tagging those language files with the neurological equivalent of urgent, consolidate this tonight. You are not actively studying in those pre-sleep moments. You are orchestrating the input for your brain's most powerful, automatic, and efficient process. You are setting the agenda for the night's work. This understanding transforms the entire learning paradigm. The immense pressure shifts from you having to painfully, consciously force memories to stick, to you intelligently trusting your brain's innate, elegant, and hardwired ability to integrate and store. The paradigm flips. You are no longer the exhausted construction worker trying to build a house alone with hand tools in a storm. You are the architect and foreman. You draw the precise plans, choose the right audio, and prepare the materials, the repeated phrases. Then, you let your silent, dedicated, and infinitely capable robotic crew, your sleeping brain, assemble the structure flawlessly overnight, in perfect conditions. The tangible result isn't a magical overnight fluency. It's biology leveraged with precision for your goal. You wake up not with brand new, never-before-encountered knowledge, but with yesterday's exposures feeling more familiar, more accessible, more intuitively yours. The words have a lower retrieval cost. They feel closer to the tip of your tongue because the neural pathways to them have been paved, widened, and signposted in the quiet of the night. A sentence structure that felt awkward yesterday may now feel slightly more natural, because its pattern has been rehearsed and reinforced internally. This is the silent software update. While your body is still and your conscious mind is offline, your brain is installing the very linguistic firmware and optimizing the programs you need to run the operating system of fluent English more smoothly when you boot up at dawn. In the next part, we will directly confront and dismantle the biggest myth that holds people back from embracing this method, and then lay out the exact, simple, and mistake-proof blueprint for your first night of truly game-changing sleep learning. Part 3. Debunking the myth. It's not magic, it's method. At the end of Part 2, we left off with a powerful image. Your sleeping brain as a silent, efficient crew, installing the linguistic software you curated before bed. But right now, a very reasonable and intelligent doubt might be creeping in. It's the same doubt I had when I first encountered this idea. You might be thinking, okay, but this just sounds like fancy talk for passive listening. If it's really this easy, why isn't everyone fluent? I've tried falling asleep to English podcasts or the news before. I didn't wake up understanding any better. In fact, it was just annoying background noise that disturbed my sleep. Let me be unequivocally clear. This doubt is correct. What you described, putting on a complex, fast-paced, information-dense podcast as you try to sleep, is not only ineffective, it's counterproductive. It's the #1 reason people try sleep learning once, dismiss it as a myth, and never discover the real, transformative method. You didn't fail. The methodology you used failed. This is the critical distinction we must make, and it's the core of why this is a game changer. Passive, random listening is to strategic sleep learning what eating junk food before a marathon is to purposeful sports nutrition. One is indiscriminate input that hinders performance. The other is precise, timed fuel designed for optimal recovery and growth. Let's break down why your previous attempt failed and how the strategic method is fundamentally different. The content. A news podcast or an advanced audiobook is filled with complex vocabulary, rapid speech, unfamiliar cultural references, and often a neutral or urgent tone. To your tired, pre-sleep brain, this isn't a lesson. It's a cognitive threat. It signals, pay attention, analyze, decode. This activates your brain's stress and alertness pathways, fighting the very relaxation needed for sleep and productive consolidation. It's like handing that silent night crew a box of screaming, complicated machinery parts instead of a set of clear, calm assembly instructions. The state of your brain, when you are in the transitional drowsy state before sleep, the hypnagogic state, your brain waves are slowing down. It is entering a mode of diffuse thinking, open, receptive, and making loose connections. This is a fertile state for absorbing simple, repetitive patterns, not for deciphering new, complex information. Forcing the latter is like trying to read a dense legal document when you're already dreaming. Your brain will reject it to protect your sleep. So, what is strategic sleep learning then? It is the intentional, gentle guidance of your brain into this receptive state using carefully crafted linguistic input. The goal is not to teach your conscious mind new things as it falls asleep. The goal is to provide the raw material, cleaned, sorted, and calm, that your subconscious mind will efficiently process during the night. Think of it like this. Daytime active study equals lifting weights at the gym. You are breaking down muscle tissue through conscious, effortful strain. Nighttime strategic listening equals the deep sleep, nutrition, and protein synthesis that actually builds the muscle. No growth happens in the gym. It happens during the rest that follows. If you lift weights randomly all day without rest, you get injured and see no progress. If you study English randomly all day and into the night with stressful input, you get mental fatigue and see little retention. The game changer is syncing the right input with the right brain state. The strategic sleep learning blueprint is built on 3 pillars of input that your pre-sleep brain craves: simplicity and repetition. The content must use high-frequency vocabulary and fundamental sentence structures you mostly recognize. The repetition of core phrases is not boring, it's the signal. It tells your brain, this pattern is important. Strengthen this pathway. Slowness and calm. The speech must be deliberately slow, with spacious pauses. This matches your slowing brain waves and allows each word to resonate without cognitive pressure. The tone of voice should be warm, reassuring, and kind. Positive emotionality. The language should be framed positively. I can understand. My English is growing. And often embedded in simple, peaceful narratives. Emotion is the glue of memory. Associating English with feelings of safety, calm, and confidence is perhaps the most profound benefit of all. When you provide this type of input, you are not a passive listener. You are an active curator of your subconscious environment. You are creating the perfect conditions for the silent software update to run its most effective script. In the next part, we will move from theory to actionable strategy. I will give you the exact step-by-step blueprint for your first game-changer night, including what specific kind of audio to look for, the precise pre-sleep ritual to follow, and how to set yourself up for a tangible feeling of progress from the very first morning. Part 4. The Game Changer Night. Your 20-minute pre-sleep protocol. We've dismantled the myth. We've replaced it with neuroscience. Now, it's time to build your new reality. This is where knowledge transforms into power. The precise, actionable power to direct your own cognitive machinery. Introducing the 20-minute pre-sleep protocol. This is not a vague suggestion to listen to something in English. This is a targeted, ritualistic sequence designed to leverage every principle we've discussed. It's the bridge between understanding the game and actually playing it. And winning. Think of this protocol as your nightly launch sequence. You are the commander, preparing the vessel, your mind, for a successful targeted mission. Memory consolidation. Every step has a purpose. Phase 1. The curated cargo, selecting your audio. 5 minutes, daytime. Your first act is not at night. It's during the day, when you have a clear mind. This is where most people fail. They choose audio in a tired, last-minute scramble. Be strategic. The golden audio. Checklist. Your audio must pass these 3 filters. Comprehensible slowness. You should understand 85 to 90% of it without strain when you listen with full attention. The speech should feel like a slow, mindful walk, not a jog. Emotional safety. The subject matter and tone should be neutral or positive. Avoid news, intense dramas, or complex academic lectures. Seek out calming narratives, positive affirmations, or simple descriptive stories. The voice should sound like a kind guide, not a broadcaster. Structural repetition. The audio should have natural repetition, recurring vocabulary, refrains, or cyclical story points. A bedtime story that mentions the quiet forest, the gentle stream, and the soft stars multiple times is perfect. Where to find this? Search for English sleep stories, Slow English for Sleep, or Bedtime Stories for English Learners. Look for channels or podcasts that explicitly use titles like Calm English or Peaceful Language Learning. Pro tip: a simple, well-narrated children's classic like The Little Prince or Winnie the Pooh is often ideal. The language is profound in its simplicity. The pacing is gentle, and the stories are designed to soothe. Phase 2. The environment shift. Digital sunset. 5 minutes before at T-minus 20 minutes to target sleep. Begin your environment protocol. Your brain takes cues from its surroundings. Dim the lights. Lowering light levels triggers melatonin production. Use lamps, not overhead lights. Declare a digital ceasefire. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Place it face down, out of arm's reach. This act is a physical signal that the day's demands are over. Perform a sensory anchor. Do one simple, calming physical act. This could be stretching for 2 minutes, taking 5 deliberate deep breaths. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Or sipping a cup of caffeine-free tea. This ritual tells your body, we are transitioning. Phase 3, the guided immersion, the 10-minute core. 10 minutes. Now, you lie down. Get comfortable. Put on your headphones. Press play on your curated audio. Set a sleep timer for 20 to 25 minutes if your player allows it. Adopt the floating listening posture. Your only job is to let the words wash over you. Do not try to translate. Do not grab for meaning. If your mind wanders to your day, gently note thinking, and return your attention to the sound of the voice, its melody and rhythm. Visualize gently. If a phrase is vivid, the deep blue ocean, allow a soft, fuzzy image to form. Don't force detail. If no images come, Simply focus on the feeling the words evoke. Permission to drift. As drowsiness sets in, surrender completely. If you fall asleep before the audio ends, you have succeeded perfectly. The audio will become the soundtrack to your initial sleep stages, which is the goal. Phase 4. The release and trust, the moment of sleep. Instant. This is the most crucial mental step. As you feel sleep approaching, consciously release any and all expectation of a result. Silently affirm, "My work is done. I have provided the materials. Now, I trust my brain to do its work." Then, let go. Fall asleep. Why this protocol is a game changer. A case study, consider Leo, a software engineer who spent years in the study guilt cycle. He adopted this protocol, choosing a slow-paced audio description of a Japanese forest walk, in English. He followed the steps meticulously. Night 1 to 3. He fell asleep quickly, noticing only that the ritual itself was relaxing. Night 5. He woke up with the phrase "dappled sunlight" spontaneously in his mind. He hadn't consciously remembered it. Night 7. During a video call, describing a problem, he effortlessly used the phrase "a layered issue," directly mirroring the layered moss from his audio. The connection was intuitive, not memorized. The change. Leo reported that English had begun to feel less like a code to crack and more like a landscape to explore. The anxiety had been replaced by a quiet curiosity. His nighttime protocol didn't just teach him words, it rewired his relationship with the language. Your first mission is not to achieve fluency. Your mission is to execute this 20-minute protocol for 3 consecutive nights. The goal is the consistency of the ritual itself. You are building a new neural pathway for how to learn. In the next part, we will explore how to amplify this effect by connecting your peaceful night work to your daytime awareness, creating a powerful, self-reinforcing loop that accelerates your journey from hesitant learner to confident speaker. You now possess the protocol, a precise, gentle method to program your sleeping brain. This is the foundation, the silent engine of growth. But an engine alone doesn't propel a vehicle forward. It needs a transmission system to transfer that power to the wheels that meet the road. In your journey to fluency, your conscious, waking mind is that transmission system. Part 5 is about creating a seamless, powerful connection between the silent work of the night and the active, expressive needs of the day. This is where we move from acquisition to integration. This is the synergy effect. If nighttime learning is about planting seeds in the fertile, dark soil of your subconscious, then daytime practice is about tending to the sprouts in the sunlight. One cannot thrive without the other. The synergy between them is what creates an unbreakable, growing command of the language. Let's break down the 3-phase bridge that turns your nightly input into daytime output. Phase 1. The morning echo. The gentle recall. 2 minutes upon waking. Do not jump out of bed. In the first few moments of wakefulness, while your mind is still soft and connected to the dream state, perform a gentle recall. Before checking your phone, lie still. Ask yourself, what is one word, sound, or feeling from last night's audio that lingers? Don't force it. It might be a single word like serene, a snippet of melody from the narrator's voice, or just a general sense of calm. Whisper that word or phrase aloud, or simply hear it clearly in your mind. This simple act is neurologically profound. You are consciously retrieving a memory trace that was just consolidated. You are strengthening the brand new neural pathway your brain built overnight, marking it as important for daily use. Phase 2. The daytime anchor. Conscious connection. 30-second micro moments. Your goal throughout the day is not to study, but to spot the echo. You are training yourself to recognize the fruits of your night's labor in the wild. When you hear or see English during the day, in a song lyric, on a street sign, in a work email, pause for a half second. Ask, did this word or pattern visit me last night? If you recognize something, give a small internal nod. Acknowledge it. Ah, there you are. I know you. This moment of recognition is a dopamine hit for your brain, reinforcing the connection between the abstract nightly input and the concrete daily language. Pro tip: if you heard a phrase like a sense of peace in your audio, and later feel calm drinking your coffee, think to yourself, I have a sense of peace. You are contextualizing the language into your personal, emotional reality. Phase 3. The active integration. The Echo Journal. 5 minutes, evening. This is your most powerful tool. In the evening, before your nightly protocol, open a small notebook or a notes app. This is not a vocabulary list. It is an echo journal. Write the date. Complete this sentence. Today, English felt accessible when, e.g., when I understood the menu at the new cafe without translating, or when the phrase, let it go, from my audio popped into my head during a stressful moment. Write down one specific word or phrase you remember from the previous night's audio. Then, write one simple, true sentence using it about your day. Night audio. Phrase, gentle progress. Your Echo Journal entry. I made gentle progress on my project today. I didn't rush. This ritual does something extraordinary. It closes the loop. It takes the subconscious seed, last night's audio, identifies its sprout in your daily life, your sentence, and waters it with conscious attention. You are telling your brain, this language is not separate from my life. It is a tool for describing my life. The Synergy in Action, a story of Ana, a graphic designer from Mexico, used this bridge. Her nightly audio was a slow description of an artist's studio. One morning, her gentle recall was the word texture. That day, while working on a design, she struggled to find the right word for a fabric. The word texture surfaced effortlessly. In her Echo Journal that night, she wrote, today, English felt accessible when I needed the word texture for my work. My audio gave it to me. I used layered textures in my client email. Within 2 weeks, Anna reported that her internal monologue when designing began to occasionally switch to simple English. The language had moved from being a subject to being a tool of her professional thinking. That is the synergy effect, the merger of learning and living. Your spike moment. Let's build a bridge. Right now, think of a simple, positive phrase you'd like to own. For example, I can find the words. Tonight. Input. Imagine this is the refrain in your pre-sleep audio. Tomorrow morning. Recall. Wake up and whisper. I can find the words. Tomorrow day. Anchor. The moment you successfully recall any word in English, think, see, I can find the words. Tomorrow evening. Integrate. Write in your Echo Journal. Today, I found the word deadline in the meeting. I can find the words. You are no longer just learning in isolated compartments. You are engineering a self-reinforcing ecosystem where night nourishes day and day validates night. The wall between study time and lifetime crumbles. English begins to permeate your being not through force, but through intelligent, gentle, and consistent synergy. In the next part, we will tackle the inevitable human challenges, how to maintain this practice when motivation fades, when doubt returns, and how to turn this method into an unshakable lifelong habit that transcends willpower. Part 6. Beyond Willpower, Building the Unbreakable Sleep Learning Habit. expanded. You now have the engine, the night protocol, and the transmission, the daytime bridge. The system is elegant and powerful. But we must now address the fundamental force that undermines every great system: the fluctuation of human motivation. Motivation is a spectacular starter, but a terrible sustainer. It is a bright, flashy firework that lights up the sky and then fizzles into darkness. Relying on it to practice your English every single night is a recipe for eventual abandonment. We've all been there. The initial excitement, the 3 perfect nights, then the off night that becomes a week-long break, leaving us feeling guilty and further behind. Therefore, Part 6 is not about learning more English. It is about engineering resilience. It's about moving from a practice fueled by the volatile energy of motivation to a practice powered by the steady, automatic rhythm of habit and identity. This is how we cross the infamous valley of doubt that appears after the first wave of enthusiasm fades. Step 1. Redefine success, the minimum viable effort. MVE. Your greatest enemy is the all-or-nothing mindset. The thought that says, if I can't do the full 20-minute protocol perfectly, it's not worth doing. This is a trap. We replace it with the concept of the minimum viable effort. Your MVE for sleep learning is this: put on your headphones and press play for 60 seconds while lying in bed. That's it. No requirement to stay awake, to focus, to understand. If you do nothing else, you have succeeded in maintaining the chain. This is non-negotiable and laughably easy. On your most exhausted, distracted, or demotivated nights, this is your sole goal. 90% of the time, completing the MVE will naturally lead you into the full protocol. But even if it doesn't, you have protected the most sacred element, the identity of being someone who does this nightly ritual. Step 2. Create an unbeatable trigger. The anchor habit. Habits are built on a neurological loop. Cue, routine, reward. The most powerful cue is an existing, rock-solid habit. Identify your anchor habit. What do you do without fail every single night? Brush your teeth? Plug in your phone? Turn off the bedroom light? Now, we attach our new routine to it. The new rule becomes, after I brush my teeth, anchor habit, I will put on my headphones and start my audio. New routine. This is called habit stacking. You are not relying on memory or willpower. You are piggybacking on a behavior that is already automatic. The existing habit becomes the trigger that launches your protocol without conscious thought. Step 3. Weekly review. The evidence log. On one night a week, perhaps Sunday, during your Echo Journal time, add a weekly evidence log. Do not focus on fluency. Ask and answer these 3 questions. Consistency. How many nights did I hit my MVE or beyond? Celebrate the number. No guilt for missed nights. Noticing. What was one moment this week where I noticed English feeling easier or more familiar? Self-compassion. How did I speak to myself about my English this week? This reveals your internal mindset. This 5-minute review isn't about judgment. It's about data collection. It turns an emotional journey into an observable project. You see the chain of consistency, you collect proof of subtle progress, and you audit your inner dialogue, shifting it from critic to coach. The story of Marco, from quitter to identity. Marco had a history of starting and stopping language apps. He began the sleep learning protocol with excitement. In week 2, he hit the valley of doubt. He was tired. The thought of the full routine felt heavy. But he remembered the MVE. He brushed his teeth, anchor habit, put his headphones on, and pressed play. He was asleep in 90 seconds. He did this for 3 nights. On the 4th night, feeling more rested, he naturally completed the full protocol. In his weekly review, his noticing was, "I didn't tense up when my colleague started speaking English in the elevator. I just listened." This small piece of evidence was fuel. After a month, he didn't think, "I should do my English." He simply brushed his teeth and reached for his headphones. It had become part of who he was. "I am someone who ends my day with peaceful English." The habit had become identity. Your game-changer mindset shift. When motivation fades and doubt speaks, you do not argue with it. You have a system that operates below the level of feeling. The thought, "This isn't working." The system response, "My only goal is my 60-second MVE." The feeling, "I'm too tired." The system response, "I will stack this onto brushing my teeth." The doubt, "I can't see progress." The system response, "I will check my evidence log on Sunday." You are no longer a passenger on the roller coaster of motivation. You are the engineer who built a steady, reliable train that runs regardless of the weather. Your practice becomes resilient, automatic, and integrated into the fabric of your life. In the final part, we will look at the ultimate horizon. We will synthesize everything into a vision of what true, lasting fluency looks and feels like when it grows from this place of peace, consistency, and self-trust. We will define success not as a destination, but as a transformative relationship with the English language and with yourself. Part 7. The Silent Dawn. When English becomes a part of you, not just a subject you study. We have journeyed from identifying the exhausting struggle, through the neuroscience of the night shift, past the myths, and into the precise protocol. We've built a bridge to your daytime life and engineered a habit resilient to doubt. Now, we arrive at the destination that has been the true goal all along. Not just fluency, but transformation. This final part is not about adding another technique. It is about recognizing and stepping into the new reality you have been constructing, night by peaceful night. This is the silent dawn, the moment you realize the change has already taken root. The transformation of the student. For so long, you may have worn the identity of English student. This identity comes with a heavy backpack, the weight of tests, the fear of mistakes, the constant measurement against an invisible standard. The relationship is transactional. I put in X hours of effort. I should get Y result. The game changer method we've built does not add to that identity. It transcends it. It guides you gently toward a new, more powerful identity, the integrated learner. The integrated learner understands that English is not a fortress to be stormed with the battering ram of grueling study. It is a landscape to be inhabited. Your nightly protocol isn't homework. It's the act of moving into that landscape, getting to know its sounds, its rhythms, its feel, in the safest and most natural way possible, through repeated calm exposure while your guard is down. The evidence of integration. Subtle shifts in your reality. How do you know this shift is happening? The signs are not dramatic pronouncements of fluency. They are quiet, profound changes in your relationship with the language. The end of the internal translator. You'll notice moments where you understand a simple phrase or think a basic thought directly in English, without the intermediate step of your native language. It feels like a shortcut in your mind has been cleared. The presence of familiarity. Over fear. When faced with English, a notification, a casual comment, a song, your first response shifts subtly from, "Oh no, I need to understand this," to, "Let's see what this is." The emotional charge changes from anxiety to curiosity. The emergence of your English voice. The language begins to feel less like a borrowed costume and more like your own clothing. You start to develop preferences for certain words or phrases that feel like you. Your accent stops being a source of shame and becomes simply the authentic sound of you speaking this language. English as a tool for living, not just learning. You catch yourself using English to plan your day, to make a private note, to label a feeling. It becomes a functional part of your inner world, not just a subject reserved for lessons. Your horizon, the self-sustaining cycle of growth. You are now at the helm of a beautiful, self-reinforcing cycle. Night, trust. You provide calm, curated input. You trust the process. Sleep, consolidation. Your brain does its silent, efficient work of integration. Day, recognition and use. You notice the fruits of that work in moments of ease, recognition, and spontaneous use. This success fuels your confidence. Evening, reflection. You log the evidence in your echo journal, solidifying the progress and preparing the mindset for the next night. This cycle becomes your new normal. The exhausting, linear study, panic, forget model is replaced by a peaceful, cyclical model of expose, consolidate, recognize. Your final, most important mission. Your mission is no longer to become fluent. That is a distant, blurry finish line that only creates pressure. Your new mission is this: to protect and honor the peaceful, powerful ritual you have built. Protect the 20-minute window. Honor the minimum viable effort on tough nights. Celebrate the small noticings in your echo journal. Trust the silent work of your own magnificent brain. Fluency is not a trophy you win and put on a shelf. It is a quality of presence. It is the presence of mind to listen without panic, the presence of heart to connect without excessive fear, and the presence of voice to express yourself, however simply, with authenticity. You started this journey seeking a better way to learn English. You are ending it having discovered a better way to relate to English, and in doing so, a better way to trust in your own capacity for gentle, powerful growth. The game has not just changed. You have changed the player. You are no longer fighting the language. You are slowly and surely becoming friends with it. And that friendship, built in the quiet of the night, will last you a lifetime. If this vision of learning through peace, not pressure, resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Tell me one word that you want to invite into your dreams tonight. By sharing, you inspire our entire community. If you found this deep dive transformative, please share this video with one person who is tired of the struggle. You might change their entire journey. And subscribe to English Tonight for more content that explores the intersection of language, psychology, and profound practical learning. We don't just teach English here, we build confidence from the inside out. Thank you for your trust, your time, and your courage to try a different way. Now, go and have a peaceful, productive night. Your silent dawn awaits.